Good morning, AP students. Welcome to our next week from distance learning. I wanted to go over our lessons for the week, but also talk about the distance learning survey. Thank you so much for those of you that completed the distance learning survey. It's really helpful to me and seeing what you guys are up to and how your other classes are going in comparison to my class. It just gives me a better idea of the things that work for you guys. So I wanted to let you know what everyone said. The overall consensus was that the experience for distance learning, over 86% of you gave it a 3 or higher. A lot of you said that you liked working at your own pace, but that you do miss being in school and seeing your peers and working in a classroom setting. But so far, your experience is going well, so that's good. And then over 81% of you said the workload for this particular class is manageable with a 3 or higher. So I thought that was good as well. Um, that being said, I was a little surprised. About 87% of you said that you spend more than 45 minutes a day on this class. So I'm curious to know what exactly is taking you. I know the mind map was longer, but in general, um, I don't know how much time you guys are spending on the PowerPoint and Edpuzzle. So I'll get more data on that as we go through in the weeks to figure out timing. The overall consensus was when you wanted assignments posted, it was pretty close in every other day versus weekly. I imagine that people like the flexibility of having the full week to turn in things, but every other day kind of keeps you a little bit more accountable and on track while letting yourself pace over 2 days but not giving yourself too much time. And then very few of you liked daily updates. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm still going to post on Mondays. And then I think instead of posting again something on Wednesday, I might post on Tuesdays. So the things I post on Monday will be due on Wednesday. That will be like the PowerPoint Ed puzzle. And then the thing I post on Tuesday will be your assignments, along with maybe another Ed puzzle that you'll have until Friday. So that way you have a little bit longer with the actual assignment part um, of it. And then 99% of you liked the distance learning model that I'm doing. So I'm definitely going to keep doing that since you guys seems it worked well for you. The only kind of notes I had for the distance learning model is you guys wanted a little bit more detail either in the PowerPoints or for me to do a voiceover. And since it takes me forever to do the voiceovers for the PowerPoints, I started doing them for my freshmen. It's just not realistic for me to do them for all the PowerPoints. So I made this week's PowerPoint more meaty in the areas I thought you would need information. So hopefully you like it. I'll go over the PowerPoint in a second. Um, and then another thing, most of you liked the YouTube videos. You said they're very helpful. I think 97% of you gave it a 5, so that's great. I'm glad they're helping you. Um, it validates me doing them. Usually it takes me a couple tries to get them ready, just because of errors and things like that. And then 54% of you would like for me to use Zoom. However, almost everyone said they want it to be optional. So that's fine. I'm totally fine with doing Zoom. I think I might have it during my office hours. So my office hours are from 3 to 4. And I'll just open up Zoom every day and you can pop in and out as you please. I am not going to make it required. It just seems hard depending on what people's schedules are. I know some people have like family life obligations that they need to attend to, so I'm not going to have it required. But feel free to pop in during my office hours for Zoom every day, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4. Now, if you want to talk to me about something specific, I might host later on review sessions, and those might be outside office hours, but I'll let you know when we get closer to that time. 61% of you said that the workload is either equal to or less than your other classes for this class. So I thought that was good. And since 80, what did I say, 87% of you say that it's completely manageable, um, that's good to hear. A lot of you are spending the most time on your English. This is how you label them, your English, science, and math. I know that my daughter's actually been getting a lot of English and science as well. So that's just good to know. And then about 70% of you said you're spending in total more than 5 hours per day on schoolwork. So there's good and bad to that. So the actual school day would be about 7-ish hours, but if you add up for 7 classes, 45 minutes, I think that's like 5 hours and a quarter. So hopefully you're not spending a lot more than 5 hours. Some of you said it just depends on the day. Sometimes, some days, yeah, some days less. That was the overall consensus. It just depends on the day. And then my biggest takeaways or feedback from you guys is that um, you don't mind the deadlines, but you want a little bit more flexibility with the time. So I'm going to keep the 9 p.m. deadline as far as like being posted on Google Classroom. However, it is not late if you turn it in by 11:59. Okay, because I know that's something that we are used to. And again, I don't know what your family home life is like, and you're more used to doing your classwork at night. So I have no problem if you turn in something by 11:59. So even if it has a due date time of 9 p.m., it will not be late if you turn it in before midnight. So, for example, this week for today, this is your PowerPoint. Okay, so we're looking at Darwin and evolution, and we'll be looking at um, social Darwinism and Karl Marx. So we'll look at Karl Marx. I'll talk about him more tomorrow. But this is the PowerPoint. So if you scroll through, I think it's about 25 slides. So it's I would say a medium length PowerPoint, not short, but not too long. I did make it meatier. Again, when you are taking notes on the PowerPoint, so remember notes are required, you just need to have a minimum of a page, just like before, and turn them in onto Google Classroom. So most of you have been keeping up fine with all the different posting things on Google Classroom. I don't know if some of you just aren't watching the YouTube videos because some of you asked me some of the information that I relay in the videos, but that's fine. But so you're going to go through the PowerPoint and take your notes. Again, don't need to be redundant. If you have some of these notes in your um, notebook from the chapter, you don't need to repeat it. Or if some of this you just feel like you know, really just write down the things that will be hard for you to memorize or remember. And then it's just a page of notes is a minimum. Most of you like taking notes on the PowerPoint. Remember, you can handwrite them or type them, your choice. Um, so I just want to go through real quick. Before we get to Darwin, we have positivism, excuse me, by Auguste Comte. And this is related to Darwin in the sense that, so he was considered the first sociologist of the time period, but he really started to take this idea and used Darwin's idea of evolution, proof that man could have a mind apart from God. So, according to his theories, Comte said that the world was governed by natural laws, and a man could discover these laws as he discovered evolution, and he would be able to predict basically all natural phenomena, so like what's going on in nature, how it works. It was already all predetermined, and it wasn't made by a literal higher power, okay, but by science. The emphasis for positivism is on science, and things can be discovered through observation, experimentation, and comparison. Okay, so this is something that is important to know. This theories coming out at the time period when we have Darwin's observations coming out as well. So that covers like the first two slides, because you will hear the term positivism, um, maybe on the AP test, maybe comparison to Darwin. So I have two slides on that. And then we get into Darwin, just like his background, his voyage, his observations on his voyage on the HMS Beagle, and then we'll get into the debates about Darwin's theories and Christianity and Darwin's theories, and then Herbert Spencer, which really is the person kind of responsible for the idea of social Darwinism and applying it to humans, because for a long time Darwin really avoided using evolution in humans. He just used it in explaining the development of animals, and then how that leads to kind of racist ideas, and then we'll hit eugenics. Okay, so all of these things leading up are important to World War I in particular. And then after that, eugenics kind of dies out, and the acceptance of social Darwinism, but then we see it brought back again when we hit World War II. So World War II, we'll get into how this has to do with World War II after the AP exam, since that's not going to be in the AP exam, but all of these ideas leading up happened before World War I, so they could be on the exam. So again, you'll go through the PowerPoint. I think there's a couple of places where I have some speaker notes for the images, just in case you're interested. Um, Feel free to read it, like this is a game and what it's about. Um, and then you're going to do an ed puzzle on eugenics. And so that is the lesson for today, due on Wednesday. So you'll review the PowerPoint, take notes, and then you watch the ed puzzle. And then the ed puzzle only has one question, and you'll write a summary at the end of it. We're not going to do any discussion posts today. And then on tomorrow, on Tuesday, I will post the ed puzzle on Karl Marx and the assignment that goes with both Darwin and Marx that you'll be working on for the week. That'll be due on Friday. Again, with a due date of 9, but it will be accepted and not considered late as long as you turn it in before midnight. Hopefully that clears up any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.